Hello students, welcome to the class. This is Hemlata Soni and today we are going to read chapter number 4, The Old Clock Shop from NCERT book for class 6th. So the chapter is very interesting and the story in this chapter conveys a message that everyone should have kindness and helping nature, because these two virtues in human beings can change everyone in this world. Even a thief or a robber too can be changed if somebody is having these two qualities. So here I am starting the text. Christmas Eve had arrived. As last minute shoppers were going home, a thick white sheet of snow lay over Salt Lake City, USA. Yet the lights were still burning in the old clock shop, as Ray, its old deaf owner, worked on a clock he had sold that day. So it was the evening of 24th of December, and because it was dark, it was evening time, that's why people were going back to their homes after doing their shopping for Christmas Day. And it was Salt Lake City, that is in USA. It was covered with white sheet because of snow, and at this late hour the lights in the shop of Mr. Ray were still burning. Why? Because he was working on a clock. Because on that day he had sold a cloak to some customer, and the next day he had to give that cloak. That's why he was late to get home. And Mr. Ray was old and he was deaf. Deaf means he could not hear anything, and because he could not hear anything, it means he could not speak. So he was deaf and dumb. So this is a picture of Mr. Ray. He was an old man, he was deaf. He was sitting on his shop on the evening of 24th of December. Having finished his work, Ray stood up and was on his way to the back room when a cold rush of air from the front door hit the back of his neck. As he stood up after finishing his work and he turned back to go to the back room, he felt that somebody had opened the door of the shop, and he could feel cold air on his neck. He turned to meet a last minute shopper, but his old wise eyes told him that this was not a shopper. He saw two men, one in his 20s, the other closer to 50. The younger man remained at the door. The older man approached the counter with no sign of friendliness in his eyes. Ray was able to hide his growing fear as he slowly pushed a notepad and a pencil across the counter. So when he felt that somebody had opened the door and he felt the cold air on his neck, he turned and he thought that it might be a customer who was late. But he was an experienced shopkeeper. That's why his experienced old wise eyes told him that there were two people and they were not shoppers, because one was 20 years old and the second one was 50 years old. So the younger one, who was 20 years old, he remained at the door. He did not come inside. And the other man, the older man who was 50 years old, he came inside the shop, but there was no friendliness in his eyes. It means he was not looking like a kind man. So now Ray was afraid, he was petrified, and slowly he pushed the notepad and a pencil to the visitor. So this was the way in which he was communicating with his customers. He was giving them notepad and a pencil to write their message, and he was also writing his message on that notepad using the pencil, because he could not speak and he could not hear. So this is the picture. You can see here in this picture that the man who was 20 years old, he is standing here at the gate, at the door, and the 50-year-old man had come inside the shop and he was 50 years old. And this is Mr. Ray, who was afraid when he saw these two people. So he smiled at the unfriendly face, then pointed to his ears and shook his head from side to side. A quick look of surprise changed the man's face as he studied the notepad, then turned and said something to his friend. So Mr. Ray was trying to hide his fear. He did not want to show that he was frightened. That's why he smiled at the visitor, and the facial expressions of the visitor were unfriendly. he was not interested in Mr. Ray and at his smile. And Mr. Ray pointed to his ears and he shook his head from side to side, like he said that he could not hear. So he said like this. So as he said this thing, and as he gave the notepad and the pencil to the visitor, he was surprised, he was astonished, and at once he turned to his partner who was standing at the door and he said something to him. Ray used the chance to look closely at the man, paying attention to the shape of a gun and a restless hand in the man's right coat pocket. Anger boiled within him, but it was kept down by an inner voice that said, "Be still." He wrote on the notepad, "May I help you?" For the first time, the older man looked directly at Ray and smiled, a cruel, mocking smile. They both understood why he was there, why his friend remained at the door. They looked like men who were down on their luck and were now ready to try something they would later be sorry about. So the time when this visitor turned to his partner to say that the shopkeeper was deaf and dumb and he could not shout, that's why they were safe. So at this time, Ray got a chance to examine the visitor closely, and he felt that the visitor was having a gun in his right coat pocket. So he was very angry and he was violent. He wanted to react, but his inner voice told him to keep silence. His inner voice suggested him to be relaxed, and Mr. Ray followed his inner voice and he was calm. So he wrote his message to the visitor and he wrote, "May I help you?" So it was the first time when the visitor looked directly in his eyes and the visitor smiled. But there was no friendliness in his smile. It was a cruel smile and it seemed as he was making fun of him because he had come to rob or to steal the belongings of his shop. They both understood why he was there, why his friend remained at the door. They looked like men who were down on their luck. So he was making fun of Mr. Ray because he and Mr. Ray had understood what was the situation. These two people had come to rob him. So Mr. Ray understood that these two people were on their bad luck, and whatever they were going to do at his shop, after some time or after some years or after some months, they would regret for that, because bad works or these crimes never pay good for anyone. The clock ticked on. Ray calmly wrote another message. "Have you come to pick up a clock or watch?" Then he pointed to the loan board filled with hanging clocks and pocket watches. He was not a pawnbroker, but at the same time couldn't say no to the needy people who placed their old watches or clocks before him for anything they could get. He loaned more than he should. They would be there when the owner wanted them back at the same price he had paid with no interest. So visitor didn't say anything, visitor didn't write anything on the notepad, and the clocks were clicking on the shop. So Ray was very calm and relaxed. He wrote another message and he wrote, "Have you come to pick up a clock or a watch?" So clock means the that is hanged on a wall, and watch is that is tied on the wrist. So he asked that what he wanted. He wanted a clock or a watch. Then he pointed to the loan board. So there was a place where there were many old clocks hanging, and he was not a pawnbroker, means he was not a person who was lending money on security, but still he was giving money to the people who were in need, because he wanted to help others, and he was a kind man, he was a generous man. That's why whenever anyone was coming to him and was giving his old cloak or watch as security and wanted money, Mr. Ray used to give that. Mr. Ray had shown him the loan board because he wanted to say that if the visitor was in need of money, then he could give his watch or his clock as security to get that money. And Mr. Ray was not taking any interest for the amount he was paying for the watches and the clocks to his customers, because he was a kind man. He was not a pawnbroker. He was just helping others by doing so. That's why he did not take any interest. Then the older man seemed to feel a little easier took out his hand from his pocket and quickly looked at the watch on his wrist. "How much will you give me for this?" the man wrote. So when this visitor heard that Mr. Ray was giving money for the watches and the clocks, so he was bit relaxed. He was easy now, and at once he took out his hand from his pocket, and he was wearing a wristwatch. So he shoved it to Mr. Ray and he wrote a message on the notepad that how much Mr. Ray could pay for that watch. Ray noticed a little shame in the grey eyes looking at him. The watch was nothing special and yet had great powers. It was something to exchange, a way out of a bad situation. Knowing that great need had brought the man to his shop in the first place, Ray asked, "How much do you need for it?" The reply came back on the notepad, "Whatever it's worth." So this time Ray could see that the visitor had shame in his eyes, because he was asking the amount for a watch that was very ordinary. It was not a special watch. So the watch was not very special, but it had the great powers, because if Mr. Ray would give money for that watch, the man would be able to get the money because he was in need. So the watch had the great powers to relieve the man from his bad situation. Okay, now Ray had understood that this man was in need of money. That's why he asked, "How much do you need? How much do you require?" Means how much money do you want for this watch? So the man had written on the notepad that whatever it's worth, whatever you think this watch may be bad, you can do that. You can give me that money. Ray reached into his cash box, pulled out a $50 note and passed it into the man's hand. As they shook hands, Ray looked into the man's eyes. They seemed to say, "Thank you." They both knew the watch wasn't worth that much. Before turning to leave, the man wrote, "I will be back to pick it up as soon as I can. Merry Christmas." So after hearing this, when he saw the message of the man that whatever he could pay, he could give. So Ray went to his cash box and he took a $50 note and he handed it over to the visitor. And when Mr. Ray looked into his eyes, he could see that the visitor's eyes were grateful to Mr. Ray. They were thanking him because they both knew it very well that the watch was very simple. It was ordinary watch and it did not worth $50. Okay, so the man had written his message that whenever he would arrange $50, he would come back and he will take that watch from Mr. Ray, and he wished Mr. Ray Merry Christmas in advance. So this was the story, and you can see here Mr. Ray is handing over a $50 note to the visitor, and the visitor is thankful and his eyes are shameful because he had entered the shop with a bad intention, but Mr. Ray was a very kind man. The story ended on the half hour with the clocks striking all together. The timepieces, which had been looking on silently all the while, rang out the time with such feelings that even Ray thought he could hear them. Their sweet musical message was filled with hope. The timeless message of peace on earth, goodwill towards all was felt by the three men who stood in the old clock shop. So this all happened in just half an hour, and for about half an hour the clocks were looking at this incident, and when the clocks saw that the ending of the story was happy and Mr. Ray had saved himself, and the visitor was also happy by taking a $50 note, so the clocks were striking all together, and it seemed that the sound that they were producing could be heard by Mr. Ray too. Okay, so it seemed as they were clapping and they were producing sweet musical sound, and the message peace on earth, goodwill towards all was felt by the three people who were at the shop at that time. One was Mr. Ray, the second one was 50-year-old man, and the third one was the man who was 20 years old and was standing at the gate. So children, this is the message. The story conveys a message that how honest and correct ways can win over any situation. With these ways, even robbers can be tackled rightly. The kindness of Mr. Ray not only protected himself but showed the right path to the robbers as well. It conveys the message of peace and goodwill for all. So these are the question answers from your textbook. What made Ray think the visitor was not really a shopper? Ray thought that the visitor was not really a shopper because the visitor had an unfriendly expression on his face and his companion did not come in but remained at the door. Question number 2. Why do you think he had come to the shop? The visitor had not come to the shop to buy anything. Perhaps his intention was to loot the owner of his cache. He might be in dire need of money. How did Ray communicate with him? Ray could neither hear nor speak, so he communicated with him by writing his message on a notepad, and the visitor was also to write his message likewise. Question number 4. What do you think the man said to his friend who waited at the door? I think the man said to his friend, "The shopkeeper is deaf and dumb, he can't shout, so we are safe." Question number 5. Ray was not a pawnbroker. Why then did he lend money to people in exchange for their old watches and clocks? Ray was not a pawnbroker, a person who lends money on security of some item. He was kind and helpful. He couldn't say no to the needy people, so he returned watches to the owners at the same price he had paid and did not take interest. The watch was nothing special and yet had great powers. In what sense did it have great powers? The watch was just ordinary, but it had great powers to pull a person out of a bad situation because the older man got the money he needed without hurting Mr. Ray. He got $50 on the security of the watch, and he must have been able to celebrate Christmas happily with his family. In this sense, the watch had great powers. Question number 7. Do you think the man would ever come back to pick up the watch? So children, here I have given you 2 answers. If you think that if he would have come back, then you may write the first answer, and if you think that the man would never come back to pick up his watch, then you can write this second answer. I hope the man would come back to pick up the watch as soon as he has $50 to pay back. Though the watch is not worth $50, the man is grateful to Mr. Ray. And if you think that he would not come back, then you can write this answer. No, it is very unlikely that the older man would ever come back to pick up his watch. He had after all got a price higher than the watch was worth for. But according to me, he should come back to collect his watch back, and he should pay $50. Question number 8. When did the unfriendly face of the visitor turn truly friendly? The unfriendly face of the visitor turned truly friendly when he got a $50 note for his ordinary watch. He felt obliged and happy. So children, this was the story, and I hope you would have liked that. So thank you.